organizations are all persons. Today, seventh day, you will wind up that committee, that last written document or agreement. If it is for a public cause, for non-profit motive, you comply. What the act says, you try to follow. We are giving no tax. That concession please avail, but comply the law. So that is the principle. So first of all, non-profit organizations, by elimination, I touch the principle of mutuality. So the principle of mutuality is, for example, social clubs, a volunteer club, a gymkhana club. The statute recognizes such association for the common cause. Such associations also are taxable entities when they are taxable, when they are not taxable. So to understand this, we should understand the principle of mutuality. There is no separate section for principle of mutuality to exempt the income, except in the case of ATP subsection 2 small a1, where though the members are only contributing income to some extent, ATP 2A1 gives some deduction, but broadly one need not go to ATP, you should come to the jurisprudence, the judge-made law. There are a number of decisions, time and again, whether it's Chelmsford Club or Bankipur Club, the Supreme Court decisions. The principle of mutuality has been explained at a number of places. They say, if the income contributors and the income sharing people eligible to share are one and the same as a class of persons, then the principle of mutuality has to be applied. So this principle of mutuality will apply in number of cases. For example, AP State Mutually Aided Cooperative Societies Act 2002. So this act, Max Act we call it, ordinary cooperative society is permitted to deal with public, whereas mutually aided cooperative society is prohibited to deal with public. It has to deal with its members. So if members come together, for ordinary cooperative society minimum 7 members, for mutual aid cooperative minimum 10 members only can constitute that. They can register it. They can start. You are having self-help groups, many self-help groups. They are all mutual aid cooperative societies. So there, only members have to borrow from this society. Members have to contribute the capital. The society may borrow from the bank. State government encourages the self-help groups to be registered under the mutual aid cooperative society. So the banks lend. You would have heard that Pavla Bati, the 4% interest. The excess interest is subsidized by the state government. So they borrow from the bank. They pay only 4%, whereas they lend the same money to the members, maybe at 12%. Members will repay. The surplus is retained by the society as a rolling fund. So such societies are not taxable under the Income Tax Act because the principle of mutuality form a consumers cooperative society. So such members contribute the capital. The cooperative society purchases their daily durables or consumables in the wholesale market. So they sell it to their own members, maybe on credit, and at the end of the month from the salary the company recovers their members. Even for a cooperative society, principle of mutuality will apply. So the principle of mutuality, either for a cooperative society or a residents association, whether registered or unregistered under the Societies Act, or a mutually aided cooperative society, a social club, as we see number of clubs, let us say volunteer club if you go, but in the evening if you go and wait, because they want to avail the exemption. Members only consume the food, members only occupy the rooms. Recently, in one recent decision, one income tax officer, while assessing a club, found that the club is running a bar. In the bar, they are having a guest charges. So definitely non-members have come. That's why guest charges are there. The club argued that, sir, guest charges who paid? Member paid. That means the society is receiving from the members only in the name of guest charges. So service is to the guest, but money is from the member. Still the principle of mutuality will apply the decision. I am giving you the citation. So the principle of mutuality, when it will apply, to which extent it will apply, to which extent it will not apply, carefully you have to see, because such associations are also liable to file the return once they have the taxable income. For example, the same residence association, the rooftop is let out to a cell tower. So cell tower, say for example, the Airtel people will give the rent. That rent goes to the association. Thereby they want to reduce the members' contribution as maintenance charges. They collect the rent. Or the association is having surplus money. That surplus money is deposited in a bank as an FD. If it is in a savings bank account, there is a controversy and the courts have held that for the earning interest they didn't deposit. To keep the money safe only in the bank, then also it's not a third party income. Whereas for earning interest, if you keep a fixed deposit in the bank, definitely it's an investment. Only to the extent of that deposit interest is the taxable income. The remaining contributions are all principal mutuality will apply. In such cases, the society bylaws say annual audit. You are the auditor, you will audit. So the income expenditure contains all receipts based on the principle of say income recognition. Thank you, sir. So the income for accountancy is different. Income taxable for the purpose of Income Tax Act is different. So if you are filing the return for this residence association, as per income expenditure, don't file the return. As per your balance sheet, don't file the return. Only that bank FD interest or cell tower rent show as income, and then don't file ITR 7. You have to file ITR 5, which is for AOPs. So in that ITR 5, what is taxable income? Only that rent or bank FD interest. Show it. If there is a TDS 10%, again 20% you pay because maximum margin rate will apply. Then you clear off. Otherwise, unknowingly, gross income, exempt income, where is the section? There is no exemption. ITR 7 is only for public charitable. This is not public charitable. So, using the correct return, correct way of filing these things is more essential. In that perspective only we should understand what is a non-profit organization. So, though majority of the work is for schools, colleges, education, public hospitals, we will deal with this section 11, 12, 13, but in this process of understanding what is a non-profit organization, how it has to be taxed, we have to go deep into the matter. That means dwell deep into the subject and try to understand. Then alone we can say better comply the law. So the non-profit organizations may be a provident fund, gratuity fund. Income Tax Act Schedule 4 deals with Part 2 deals with the provident fund, recognized provident fund. Recognized, are they eligible for a Section 12A registration? No. The fund is meant for specific employees' benefit, specific organization employees. So they contribute their money. Employer also contributes some money. So the fund income is exempt under Section 1025, but the fund keeps the money in the bank FDs. Bank people, unless you produce under Section 197 the no TDS certificate, they deduct the TDS. To get the TDS refund, you have to file the return of income. Is it a public charitable one? No, because the word public charitable or public means that without identifying the beneficiaries, if that organization is passing on the benefits, then it is public. The beneficiaries should not be identified persons. For unidentified persons, if it is serving, it is a public charitable. For identified people, when you serve, it is not a public charitable. In the case of provident fund, in the case of a gratuity fund, only identified people are the beneficiaries of this fund. So the most of the funds are non-profit organizations, broad word. Though they are all non-profit organizations, they are not public. So it is also formed as a trust. So the trust contains who are the trustees, what are the duties of the trustees. So all these things the trust deed will mention. They too have to file the return, because though their income is totally exempt under 1025, unless you file the return, your TDS in your name, you won't get refund unless you file the return of income. So While applying the PAN itself, in the case of non-profit organizations, many people, the status itself, wrongly people will take. So is it a association because it's an AOP? Is it a trust? The trust is not a person under the definition of section 231 as a person. Trust is not given. Why it is not given? Purposely they have. If you go to section 11, 12, 13, section 11, 12, 13 never use the word person. They always use the word either trust or institution, eligible for registration, eligible for exemption, not eligible for exemption. 11, 12, 13, they are not using the word person. Whereas if you come to the 5 heads, in all the 5 heads, the word used is any person having. Person is used in all the 5 heads. Whereas in this 11, 12, 13 or in 10 to 3C, they have not used the word person. They have specifically used the word a trust or institution. Institution is not defined in the Income Tax Act. The word trust is not defined in the Income Tax Act. Purposely they have done it. A trust, as we all know, trust can be 2 types: private trust, public trust. As we are dealing with non-profit organizations, mostly will be public trust. So, in the case of a private trust, the trustees, in their capacity as representative assessees, have to be assessed in the same way as the beneficiaries are assessable. So, if the beneficiary is a single individual, the trustee will take individual PAN number, though it is a trust. So, in the case of benefits are getting an indeterminate. That means the income is not definitely attributable to a particular beneficiary. Then indeterminate, then it's an AOP. So a trust can be liable, a trustee is liable in the capacity of an individual, sometimes in the capacity of an AOP, sometimes. So under the Income Tax Act, whenever we are obtaining a PAN number, we should specifically which status, because the peculiarity of the Income Tax Act is correct status return you have to file. Though you pay the tax with a wrong status, though the officer assesses in a wrong status, it cannot be rectified under 154 or by a commissioner's reopening under section 263. So the correct status filing is more important and difficult. As I told you, the government authorities are accessible as non-profit organizations. Universities are accessible. The law created independent entities are also accessible, though they are non-profit organizations. So, a religious trust, let us say, 10 of you as chartered accountants in a particular colony, resident colony, you have want to construct a temple. So, when you are drafting that temple trust deed, or as a society if you want to register, the main difference between the trust and society, trust in few states in India only, Public Trust Act, for example, the Bombay Public Trust Act is there for Maharashtra, but in Andhra Pradesh, southern India, no state is having Public Trust Act. Then when there is no Public Trust Act, the courts borrow the principles from the Indian Trust Act. Though Indian Trust Act is mainly for private trust, the principles of Indian Trust Act have been borrowed and applied in the case of public trust. So the main difference between the trust and the society is trust is governed by the Trust Act, and trust objectives, trustees are all coming from the trustee deed only. 99% they are not alterable. You cannot alter the objectives, you cannot alter the trustees' duties, rights, everything as per the trustees, because the author of the trust once executes a trust deed, it is final. Whereas in the case of the society, more democratically, many members can join, many members can go away from the society, the members only will elect the governing body or the management committee. So they can decide the objectives to be pursued or objectives to be changed. So, which is not possible in the case of a trust. So the societies and trusts both are eligible for section 11 exemption if they have the registration or 1023 registration. That's why In some cases, age-old institutions will be there because they are not evidenced by a trust deed or a society bylaws registered, but such institutions are existing. For example, more than 100 years old temples you will find, more than 100 years old schools, for example churches,